BJP has Mahila Morcha, Minority Morcha, Kisan Morcha, Yuva Morcha, this Morcha and that Morcha. Now it also has an election Morcha. The Election Commission of India has become an election Morcha of the BJP. But then, let me say this. I think this election commission ought to go. Entire opposition should quit the Lok Sabha.
Okay.
One. Two, they should all together boycott elections until this situation is rectified. Contesting an election, political parties are only legitimizing a vote theft. And a government or governments, state governments and the union governments established as a result of vote chori are being legitimized. Now, withhold that legitimacy. If every political party who believes this, every political leader who believes this, if they boycott the elections until this entire mess is cleaned up, there's absolutely no solution to this. Please do not be under the false impression that you can fight this, you can win the next election, you can win this election, you can win that election, maybe you lost this, maybe you can win that. No, I think you should disabuse yourself from this kind of a delusion. I think there needs to be pressure on the political parties to get their act together and put pressure on the election commission, on the system. Why can't the entire opposition and representatives of the civil society go in a delegation, meet the President of India and say, look, this is what it is. Please do take corrective action. Or give the President of India some time and say, if you fail to act before that, we're all resigning. These are our resignation letters. Either you act or you accept these resignations. My feeling is that the political parties will have to eventually, even reluctantly, come to this conclusion that, or come to a position where they will have to quit all the elected positions, Lok Sabha and different state assemblies. They will have to boycott elections. They have to launch a feet on the ground agitation. And then overhaul the democratic system.
Hello and a warm welcome to HW News Network, your one-stop show, truth be told, for some engaging and thought-provoking conversations. Last Friday, Rahul Gandhi held his second explosive press conference. A lot of revealing things came out, as if the vote deletion was happening through a programmed software, through a call center, which involved destination ports, destination devices, IP addresses, and of course, the OTP trails. Till date, Election Commission has not answered anything on those allegations, except for the first reaction, which came in instantly, saying that all allegations made by Rahul Gandhi are totally and totally baseless. Will the nation ever get its answers on these particular things which have been revealed by Rahul Gandhi? And of course, before Rahul Gandhi made all these revelations, a number of people, a number of organizations have been working on how there has been a spurious injection of votes in many, many elections. It's been happening over the years, but now, since the principal opposition party has brought out this in a scientific, investigative manner, it's become more and more credible. Joining me this evening is renowned economist, political commentator, and author Parakala Prabhakar, who joins us this evening. So thank you so much for joining on HW News. And it's always a pleasure having you on the program. And my first question to you is that...
Thank you very much, Neelu. Thank you very much for having me.
Always a pleasure, sir, to talk to you. But I have been really wanting to speak to you about the revelations made by Rahul Gandhi, and especially what has been demanded by the Karnataka CID from the Election Commission. They have been asking for the destination ports, the destination devices. They've been asking for OTP trails, but all that has been totally dismissed and rejected by the Election Commission. Now, what I want to understand from you is that what Rahul Gandhi pointed out was that this is done through a planned operation, it's done through a call center, it's done through a centralized software. What is your hunch on this particular bit?
Neelu, the entire thing, the conduct of the election commission, its lack of transparency, its opaqueness, it's stalling questions from the civil society and the political parties. This has become a huge issue now, and people like you, me, and so many other people, organizations have been raising this. But you see, one important thing that has happened since last month, I think it was this month, sorry, 7th. After the leader of the opposition had held a press conference and um, made certain revelations. Now, this has become a national topic for conversation. That is a good development. Although civil society has been raising these things for a long time from a different point of view, but he has brought in a new dimension to this whole thing. Now, looking at the Aland Assembly constituency, where applications online were made for the deletion, the first reaction of the election commission was that you cannot make an application, you cannot have a deletion online. But that of course is a very weak kind of a defense, and it is proved that election commission, especially the CEO of Karnataka, has been in correspondence with the CID, and it also wanted to have some kind of an inquiry done. But then when the inquiry had reached a stage where the truth were to be revealed, especially if the destination port and the destination IP addresses were to be revealed, then the election commission had put its foot down. Today it's stonewalling. Now, when that has come to the public domain because of the LOP's press conference, what I, like any citizen, would expect the election commission to do is to say, look, let us inquire into this. But instead of saying that, it is stonewalling. It is trying to say that you just cannot make an application online, all that kind of a thing. Very misleading kind of a thing. This is very worrisome. Worrisome in the sense, we just want to know who is doing it. Now, the election commission and the supporters of election commission, there are so many supporters of the election commission. I do not know why there are supporters of election commission. What is it? What is the problem of anybody in asking the election commission to have a complete, inquiry, a thorough inquiry into it? But then there are some people who are saying that anyway, after all, the votes were not deleted. The point is not whether they deleted or not. The point is an attempt was made. Why was it made? How was it made? Who made it? These things will be known only if the destination port and destination IP addresses are revealed by the election commission. Why is the election commission not revealing these two crucial points? So, this, if it is trying to obfuscate, if it is trying to hide, if it is trying to withhold this information, then people like me who are willing to give them a benefit of doubt. Now, our
No,
suspicions
but
of
isn't
them
it, Mr. Prabhakar, but is it not
are
already
being
evident?
strengthened.
No, but isn't it already evident that the election commission is trying to obfuscate, they are trying to cover up, and they are not interested in telling you the exact things what you want to know? Isn't it very evident now?
Yes, for a long time, actually. You see, I hope you remember, we have been saying this for a long time. Immediately after the 2024 elections also, some of us tried to point out there is a huge discrepancy between the provisional figures and the final figures. And in the second phase, the data is incomplete. And the final phase, the seventh phase, the final figures were revealed after the declaration of the results. We've been flagging this. And the election commission is stonewalling. Election commission is stonewalling to such an extent that it refused to reveal the contact addresses of the returning officers, saying that they don't have the contact addresses and names of the returning officers. That is the kind of stonewalling, that is the kind of obfuscation. We know that. But then, I must say this, people like me, hoping against hope that at least it will take some opportunity to come clean, to prove its credentials of impartiality. Now, this Alan has provided that kind of an opportunity. In Alan, they could have just said, "Look, okay, if that is the case, here are the IP addresses, here are the destination port addresses." Why can't they do it? When there is an opportunity for the election commission to retrieve its credibility. Why is it not doing?
No, but is it not evident again? And I'm asking the same question: that are they really interested in retrieving their credibility when they already have made up their mind that no, whatever we are doing is correct, and and then the next question is that why should we give a benefit of doubt now? Has that stage crossed when you were supposed to give that benefit of doubt to the election commission? Why should we give the benefit of doubt now to the election commission when consistent stonewalling is so much visible? And it's not just now, it's been there for like so many elections. The same thing has been pointed out, but then always they have dismissed these questions.
The point is the credibility and the trustworthiness of the election commission is at its lowest now. Neelu, I do remember in 2001, I think, when the Election Commission was celebrating its Golden Jubilee, the then President K.R. Narayanan had said that the credibility of the Election Commission, people's faith in the Election Commission, is much higher than their faith in judiciary. That was the day. And today, more than 20% say that it is operating under pressure from the government. And the number of people who said that they don't trust the ECI has gone up from about 11% to over 30%. The CSDS opinion poll. Now, that is the kind of credibility that they have. What a fall compared to what KR Narayanan had said, the then president had said in 2001, that election commission enjoys the kind of trust which is much more than the judiciary of the people. Now, that is now, election commission is, a friend of mine had said, well, I mean, he must have seen me speaking here, there, or writing here and there. He said the other day that, look, Parakala, why are you worried so much about the election commission? Because don't you realize by now that BJP has Mahila Morcha, Minority Morcha, Kisan Morcha, Yuva Morcha, this Morcha and that Morcha. Now it also has an election Morcha. The Election Commission of India has become an election Morcha of the BJP. That's what he said, and it really shocked me. That is the kind of perception people have of the election commission. Now, what kind of a you know um, um, what kind of a credibility will a mandate um, given by the election commission? For instance, election commission gives you the final figures after releasing the results. The final voting percentage is revealed after the results are declared. What kind of a, how can you, I mean, so therefore, the mandates given by this election commission become increasingly questionable. That is the worry. That is the worry.
No, but the kind of details which have come out now, we all know that election commission once upon a time was neutral, as what you rightly pointed out that during K.R. Narayanan's time, he said that election commission has more credibility than judiciary. But those were those days. But looking at what all we are seeing in the current times, uh, what is the solution now? Because we've talked enough about vote chori, we've talked enough about the vote theft, we've spoken about the modus operandi. You yourself, since the last elections, we've been talking about, and we've been speaking invariably after every election. I've been interviewing you, and the same thing we are repeating over and over again, that there is a discrepancy between the actual voter turnout and the figures which are presented finally. Then several other people have pointed out. Now Rahul Gandhi has come up with a modus operandi that this is all happening very, very scientifically. What is the way out now? Is there what Rahul pointed out, that there is a certain syndicate which is behind this vote theft? How do you breach this syndicate? That is the question now.
Uh,
Election
uh,
Commission's credibility is no question now. Forget the Election Commission, because they are not bothered about even retrieving even a bit of their credibility. But the point is that if there is a syndicate which is robbing the votes, which is thieving around with the votes, how do you breach that syndicate?
Now, Neelu, I think you've hit the nail on its head. You said, one phrase that you used is forget about the election commission. I think I would vote for you on that. The thing is this, it may be very unpalatable at this stage. Many people, especially the political parties and observers, might feel that, what I'm about to say is, impractical or too radical or too extreme. But then let me say this. I think this election commission ought to go. And until that, I think if they don't agree now, but eventually they'll have to come to this conclusion that all the political parties who feel that there is a vote theft, a vote chori, and the elections are being manipulated. There's a large scale vote injection, and there is manipulation of voters' rolls. There is SIR targeted to, like political, like ethnic cleansing. They're doing political cleansing. Those who are not likely to vote are being removed without any explanation.
Right.
If this is what is now in front of us, the solution is that the entire opposition should quit the Lok Sabha.
Okay.
One. One. Two, they should all together boycott elections until this situation is rectified. Now,
Okay.
why do
Now,
I say this?
let me
Why?
just
No, no,
interrupt.
1 minute, Neil. 1 minute, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Why do I
Yeah.
say this? Why do I say this? Why do I say this? You see, there is absolutely no point in going on contesting an election where which you know that it is going to be manipulated, rigged, and vote chori happening, etc., etc. By contesting an election, your only political parties are only legitimizing a vote theft, and a government or governments, state governments and the union governments established as a result of vote chori are being legitimized. Now, withhold that legitimacy. If every political party who believes this, every political leader who believes this, if they boycott the elections until this entire mess is cleaned up, there's absolutely no solution to this. Please do not be under the false impression that you can fight this, you can win the next election, you can win this election, you can win that election, maybe you lost this, maybe you can win that. No, I think you should
Yes.
disabuse yourself from this kind of a delusion.
Right. Now let me just interrupt you here. You said two, three very important points. One is, of course, you said that this election commission ought to go. Now, how will this election commission go when you have the appointment process which is so compromised? There is a law which gives complete immunity to the election commissioners. You cannot sack them, you cannot impeach them, you cannot proceed criminally in any court of law. How will this election commission go? That is my question number one. Question number two, then I'll later on ask about the opposition party. So first you answer this question first, and then I'll
Okay.
come to
Now,
the second question.
let us work it out backwards then. If all the political parties come out and say that we do not trust this election commission and therefore we are not participating in this election process, and therefore the election process through which that faulty election process through which we are sitting here in the Lok Sabha and different assemblies, etc., we are just quitting all of them, then is the election commission's continuous tenable? Can it survive that?
No,
Can
but
Indian
even
democracy's
before,
legitimacy survive that?
no, but Mr. Prabhakar, even before the political parties say this, the kind of proof and the evidence which has come now, hasn't that made the position of the election commission so untenable? They are not ready to part with any of the OTP trails. They are not ready to part with the destination ports, the destination devices, which almost looks like a cover-up exercise. So whether the opposition parties say this in unanimity or not, but already the election commission is in the dock.
It is only in the dock. But you see, where is the pressure? Where is the pressure? Now, if I you see if I don't participate in it, you know, there has to be a clarity in this. If you say that there is a vote chori, you're not parting with information, you're not giving this, you're not giving that, and then file your nomination, what does it mean? It
True.
means that
That's
you have a sneaking kind of a hope somewhere, because you see the opposition wins here and there and here and there. It's almost like a casino scenario, where you see in a casino, Munilu, the people who go to the casino do not lose all the games, all the bets. They win some, they lose some, they win some, they lose some. They win two, they lose three, they win three but lose four. Win an important game but lose unimportant game, or win an unimportant thing and lose another unimportant thing. But the point is this: the point is, at the end of the day, it is the casino that wins. It is the casino that gains. If you, it is not the stakeholders. Now, forget about the political parties, Neelu. And I know I am also not very hopeful of the political parties, because political parties, look at them. If you trust these political parties who are there to protect the democracy of our country, political parties who are themselves not democratic, how do you trust these political parties to safeguard your democratic rights? This is a basic question. Therefore, I think there needs to be pressure on the political parties to get their act together and put pressure on the election commission, on the system. Why can't the entire opposition and representatives of the civil society go in a delegation, meet the president of India and say, look, this is what it is. Please do take corrective action, or give the president of India some time and say, if you fail to act before that, we're all resigning. These are our resignation letters. Either you act or you accept these resignations. Why don't you do that?
no, but I
Can
have
there be
also
can there be can there be
no,
bigger
but
pressure than that?
Parkala, I have spoken also to a number of opposition leaders, and they always, when you ask them that, why can't you boycott elections? So most of them say that, boycotting elections is giving dictatorship to them on the platter. Why should we do that? Now, I don't know what is the logic, but repeatedly opposition parties do say that, if we boycott elections, boycotting is not the solution. This is what they say, and it's like handing over the dictatorship to them on the platter. This is what they say.
Okay.
So how can
My
we?
my 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 response to that, Nilo, is okay. They say that you're handing over the country to a dictatorship on a platter. But by participating in the elections, what you're doing is that you are legitimizing the dictatorship, legitimizing the anti democratic dispensation, legitimizing a completely compromised Election Commission of India. You are legitimizing the way the Election Commission is constituted as though it is a government department. Aren't you legitimizing? So if you're not willing to put up a fight, then you can have a thousand excuses to say that it doesn't serve purpose, etc. Uh, do have
No, so
incidents where the
are you
opposition.
saying, Parkala, that whatever efforts the opposition is putting up, say for example Rahul Gandhi's efforts, or for that matter Akhilesh Yadav's efforts, whatever little effort is being put from their end, that's not enough, and you are saying that they need to build more pressure on the election commission and the government. Is that what you're pointing out? And what will be that pressure? Is it like coming to the streets against the election commission then?
I wish these efforts are enough, but I don't see the result. Therefore, uh, what is good may be not the best, and what is best may be not good enough yet. We do not know. But when it is not yielding the result, you have to upscale, you scale up, you take it to the next level. Why are you fighting shy of taking it to the next level? Why are we not agitating, feet on the ground? Say that, look, this is not acceptable to the Indian people. Why don't we say that? Now, I am reminded of, let's recall the Anna agitation. Anna agitation was not, uh, launched because there were no courts, not because there were no courts. There were courts. Not because there was no legislature. There was legislature. Parliament was running, and all the state governments were running. Not that there was no properly constituted authorities to tackle this. There are. But why was an agitation launched? Why was Ramlila grounds full of people? Why? And those people who supported that agitation, why do they say that they need not be an agitation now? Why are they saying that go to the court? One can go to the court. I'm not saying don't go to the court. You can go to the court. But then, why do we have to foreclose our options of a mass agitation? Why do we have to foreclose? Give me one good reason. And while keeping in mind the Anna agitation.
Coming back to the question where you said that uh, when they could launch an agitation like an Anna movement, why can't the opposition launch a movement like this? So, do you think that the fault lies with the opposition now? Because they have pitched up a high spirited campaign on vote chori. Look at the traction which Rahul Gandhi's press conference got. And now every political party is talking about it, whether it is Mamta Banerjee, whether it is Aam Aadmi Party, all the parties have picked up this vote theft issue in a big, big way. And thanks to the kind of press conference which Rahul Gandhi did. And of course, the civil society people, we should not forget, who've been working uh, over the years to bring up this issue, so that a party like Congress could pick up this issue. But the point is, what next from here on? Rahul Gandhi said that he is going to explode another hydrogen bomb in a few weeks from now. Is that going to help?
Oh, well, you see, I wish it helps. I wish whatever efforts, as you said, a lot of people are putting in a lot of efforts. Political parties are really, doing their maximum. But if that is not enough, Neelu, one has to think of, scaling it up. Well, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say that doing
Okay,
is
if I may
useless. It's
ask
fine.
you, I may ask you that what is going to be that scale up action? According to you,
Well,
what is the prescription? If all the
there,
opposition parties are going to watch this interview, and I'm sure they will, what is that one scale up action which they should immediately plunge into?
why don't you agitate? Feet on the ground agitation. Press conference is fine because that prepares the mind of the people, that prepares the ground, that gives the argument. But ultimately in democracy it is the mobilization of people. feet on the ground, isn't it? Now, those who say that that kind of a feet on the ground agitation is not necessary, therefore that is when I try to remind you of unagitation. Unagitation was not launched and carried out because the courts were closed. No, courts were there. Why were you agitating? The government was negotiating, at least that time. Still the agitation was going on. Legislatures were functioning, but still the agitation was going on. Why? So that kind of a pressure, that kind of a turning up of heat is necessary. I wish the political parties would think of on these lines, because if they don't do that today, I'm very confident if this is going to happen continuously. You see, my point is this, Neelu. In 2024, the Vote for Democracy report shows that very credibly that 5 crore vote injection had taken place, additional, between the provisional and the final. Now, if you leave it, don't call it out now, don't arrest this kind of a trend, if you give free rein to this kind of a dispensation, in 2029, 10 crore vote will be hiked. After that, 20, 30, 40, where will you go? What happens to India's democracy? So, do you want to go on doing this, giving a long rope, waiting for it? Or do you want to put an end to this and arrest this? If you want to arrest this, you may not like it now, but ultimately, my feeling is that the political parties will have to eventually, even reluctantly, come to this conclusion, that or come to a position where they will have to quit all the elected positions, Lok Sabha and different state assemblies. They will have to boycott elections. They have to launch a feet on the ground agitation, and then overhaul the democratic system. And in that churn, a lot of undemocratic elements, even in these political parties, will also go away.
Yes. No, but I'm sure the opposition parties have already been accused, like what BJP responded to Anurag. I mean, the way Anurag Thakur responded, that Rahul Gandhi is trying to, spread anarchy. He's trying to create a Nepal-like situation. This is what he said in the press conference. So, are the opposition parties accused of? I mean, are they afraid of being accused of this as well? That they don't want to sound anarchist and at the same time raising the alarm on the vote theft. Is that really going to work? That's my final question to you.
I do not know what the political opposition political parties are thinking. I'm not privy to that, but I want everybody, ruling party politicians, opposition party politicians, observers like you, commentators like you, analysts, etc. Just when Nepal or Bangladesh have happened now, what about Anna agitation? Go back to that. Why did Anna agitation take place? Not because there was no CAG, not because there was no court. Still, people have gathered and said, look, this must stop. Why don't we do that? And before that, there were instances where the opposition collectively has resigned from the Lok Sabha, weren't they? So would that amount to anarchy? No, it's not. It's a very, very legitimate democratic means.
Absolutely. Okay, so before I wind up the interview, I would like to hear from you that if you have to appeal to the opposition parties, you already said that forget the election commission, so let's forget the election commission as of now. You've already said it in your interview that this election commission ought to go. And if
Yeah.
we continue to contest elections like these, they become meaningless and we are only and only legitimizing the vote theft. So, what is your one last appeal to the opposition parties, Parkala?
Please scale up. Don't think that by uh, signaling these kind of a things, by press conference here, a press conference there, a petition here, a petition there, it's going to change the situation. Change in the situation will come about only if you take what it really takes to do this. Please think about that.
Yes, that's right. That's right. I hope the political parties watch this interview and the scale up agitation you are talking about, they pay heed to it. And of course, I think the biggest news point which you have given is to forget the election commission, and this election commission ought to go. And the political parties, you said, need to quit Lok Sabha and then scale up the agitation. I'll have to end it here. Thank you so much, Mr. Parkala, for joining on HW. And it's always a pleasure listening to your insightful conversation. Thank you so much for joining on HW.